where and how you distribute is very important. You can't drop off aid at the border and pray for the best.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
It breaks your heart. It really does. It breaks your heart to watch the news, but you need to watch the news. You need to know what's going on in this world so you can find a way to fit into what's going on in this world by, at the very least, helping out. With everything going on in Ukraine, of course, spilling out over the borders into Poland. Gosh, we're over 1 million so far. And I think that's a conservative count.
Yeah, they think it's going to get up to 4 million.
4 million refugees expected to be leaving their own homeland, their own home. Just try to wrap your head and heart around that. Just a moment. So when our friend Bethenny Frankel, I knew she would hop on the white horse and come riding in, as she always does, and she gets embarrassed when you say things like that. But Bethenny Frankel to the rescue, again, with Be Strong. Of course, the initiative that's working, partnering with Global Empowerment Mission to make sure these refugees are taken care of. Because the last thing they need to be worried about is how to feed the kids and move forward. They have enough going on. Bethenny, thanks for being on the show with us today. Sure is nice to have you here.
Thank you. It really is extraordinary what's going on. And I keep getting different updates that have different ramifications and meaning, and it's really crazy. And I don't think people are wrapping their heads around it. I mean, because what I've seen in all disaster relief, I was thinking in the bath this morning, I said, so we broke $10 million in financial contributions and financial donations. You donated, thank you. But we broke $10 million. I raised $10 million in a week. So that's insane. But by the same token, I was pissed off because it's not a hurricane. Like it's an act of a human being. So this is raising money for something that didn't need to happen. So that just hit me this morning because you're in motion. You don't think about, the metamorphosis of something or how it started. So I haven't really slept a lot. So I was just very aggravated about that aspect this morning.
Well, Bethenny, for everyone like you, for like us, for everyone listening who wants to be a part and not just sit there with their hands under their butts, they want to do something. It doesn't matter if it's a hurricane or a maniacal man. It's happening. And these people, gosh, I do not even want to think about what they're going through, but we need to think about what they're going through. Bring us up to date. Here it is, Friday, March, whatever it is. What is the latest you've heard from the border, from Poland, and from where the refugees are pouring out of the country?
Okay, so my team, Michael, and all of our volunteers from Global Empowerment Mission and local orgs, Ukraine orgs, Polish orgs, are on the ground in Poland. And we established our mandate a couple of like $2 million in that it would be refugees out, and how we would do that I'll explain, and aid in, because first we were thinking about refugees out. People had started this, what now is becoming a mass exodus, and we thought, how are we going to help them? They're going to want crisis kits and food and water and things that they'll need when they cross the border. But really, what do they need then? They need relocation. They need plane tickets, train tickets to get to different parts of Europe, connect with family, etc. So we partnered with a travel partner to handle those travel logistics. But then where are they staying? Many of these people want to stay near Poland because they feel like they're still in limbo. They've just been uprooted in a minute, because most people didn't really think this was happening. So some of them want to stay in Poland, and then many people want to be relocated all over the world, frankly. So we have a travel logistics partner, and we're working on a massive lodging partnership that I can't announce yet, but that would be to basically house and relocate thousands of people. So that's on the refugee side. We also realize there are still millions of people still in Ukraine, panic-stricken, not just in Kyiv, which is all we really hear about, but everywhere. And resources are running dry, and medical supplies are running dry, and they're all panicked and feel trapped. So we have programs going into Ukraine to bring people out, but also to bring aid in, medical, food, supplies, etc., to bring aid in. So that's sort of the two-pronged effort, but it's going to overrun Europe. These camps. My partner was telling me this morning that every mall, like he brought up Aventura, which is sort of a fancy mall in Miami.
Right.
He said, picture Aventura Mall, and every one of those malls in Poland is now mass people just like all over every inch of every floor of a mall that you just use. 2 weeks ago you went to go shopping. So I just don't think, and I definitely think that, I mean, look at all the money I've raised. It's amazing, the awareness. It's crazy to watch social media and all the superficial posts, and everyone just goes back to, because they feel like they checked the box. They read about it, they know about it, they donated, we're moving on. Like, we're not moving on. This could 10 million people or 5 million people in Europe, like, they can't handle that. And maybe that's part of the plan. It's like Game of Thrones.
Wow. So many moving parts, going back to the initiatives you guys are putting forth, travel in, out, over. I mean, it's not as simple as, well, let's send, a jar of peanut butter to Poland,
right,
and hopefully,
at all.
It's not what it's so much more than that. Right now, what are you seeing in the news? What's the latest headlines, Gandhi? What's going on?
Well, we know that there was the barrage on the nuclear plant yesterday, which was very sad and scary. Sadly, it has been taken over by Russians. The fighting there has stopped. They were able to contain the fire. But as far as the flee across the border, it's still happening, and people are trying to get out of there as much as they can. So it's great that these organizations are stepping up. A lot of people have bought Airbnbs. They're selling out Airbnbs there to try and help people also find refuge. There are tons of different organizations which you can donate to. But it's just a sad situation, and we're really hoping for something to change soon, but it kind of doesn't look like that's going to happen.
So 10 million, and are we going for 20 million? I mean, do the numbers matter anymore? Are you just going to go for broke, whatever we can get?
I mean, the numbers, it was at $1 million a day, and then now it's on the average just about a week, so it's been like $1.5 million. And that was hours ago. I'll look later, and the numbers will keep going. Yeah, so people are donating, and it's incredible. But, I don't even know that there's going to be something for people to go back to. I spoke to a friend who has a company that has a warehouse in Ukraine, and she said $250 million of their supplies are just gone. That's 250. That was like an anecdotal story that I just heard in the middle of other stories. So how many people's businesses are destroyed? And is looting happening? I mean, it's just pandemonium there. So I don't know no one knows what the end game is. We haven't seen something like this in a really long time. I mean, I've seen a lot with these disasters. This is next level. This is actually next level.
Well, partnering with a global empowerment mission, obviously you would not have partnered with them or whatever with them without knowing the safety there, the control they have over supplies. And, there's trust. Look, they're halfway around the world. You have to wonder, like, okay, we're raising money for you guys, and we're doing everything we can to get the word out. Let's make sure that our money's going to the right places and will not be destroyed, will not be blown up. How satisfied are you with your relationship with them?
Well, from the very beginning, I've been very transparent. I control where all of the Be Strong money goes. Okay. Not a check gets written unless I sign off on it. I know exactly where it's going. And this happened in Hurricane Maria and the Bahamas, etc. We basically create a mandate, and then we have to fulfill that mandate. So for the aid going back into Ukraine, who are we partnering with that's trusted, that knows all of the trusted, because they're not always trusted, mayors, and where are we distributing, because where and how you distribute is very important. You can't drop off aid at the border and pray for the best. You need to make sure it gets into all the right hands in far-reaching places that people don't think about. And then as far as the refugees, we ourselves are connecting with them, getting their passport information, figuring out how many family members they have, and who are we partnering with, and what volunteers do we have to execute that, and then make sure that they get to where they need to get to. The $15 million in aid is now the new number because it was 10. That's what we're bringing in to distribute into Ukraine. So it's effectively a $25 million effort. It's just $10 million is the money so to make it clean for people, the $15 million is aid. The $10 million is cash donations. I have complete control over the $10 million in the sense that that's plane tickets, train tickets, travel partner, lodging partner that is donating, but there'll be a lot of logistics to support that. We spent some money on some medical supplies and OR table going back into Ukraine. There are individual outlier items. I'm asked, is this okay? Is this okay if we buy these medical supplies for this hospital? That's like a line item that I look at just like any CEO at any company. So it's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot of stress, but that's my aspect. My part of that is, what are we communicating? What do we want to do? How do we want to help? And where exactly is the money going? So wow. People like that transparency, and that's why they donate.
Crystal ball it for a second. You know where the money's going now because you know that's where it needs to go. Where do you think this is going? Where it's going to evolve? It's going to, as you said, it began at the border. Now it's spilling out over the border. Now we're talking about people moving them around Europe to get to family and friends. What's next? Where do you suspect this is going? Because I want to keep the funding coming in, but for what?
Well, the plan could be to take over Europe. I think Europeans will get lit and start freaking out because they'll start just seeing that this is going to flow into all areas of Europe. I mean, this is an overflow. So I think some people are stunned. Getting people out of these camps is what needs to happen. Those camps will overrun major cities. And Poland's been incredible. So you have to get people, like, keep it moving. We're going into camps. We set up booths. We process 1,000 people, several hundred people a day, and say, where do you want to get to? Here you go. Out. Family of 1 to family of 8. How are we dividing that? Go. Like, so everybody could just move on through the turnstile and get out of there. And that's why it's good that not everybody left the first day. That's why it's good that people are still a little bit stunted, because it would be a backlog that of insurmountable proportions. And now it's getting that way, but people have to get out.
Look, Bethenny Frankel is here. Bethenny.com, go down and hit Be Strong. Is there what's the fastest way to get to the page where people can contribute?
Bethenny.com/be strong. One thing people do, I'm sorry, I haven't even slept. One thing people do say is that it's very easy. It's a very easy donation process. Yeah. And as always, 100% goes to the effort. So, that makes people feel good too. And it's necessary in this day and age. And many of the big orgs take a lot for their bureaucracy, for their travel, for their infrastructure. And that's not a model that I'm here for.
Again, Bethenny's Bethenny. If you're wondering, it could be a little different than the Bethenny you went to high school with. And Be Strong, the first thing you see is boom, big red box, hit it and contribute all you can. Of course, partnering with Global Empowerment Mission. It's I don't know. If you start to say, "Hey, Bethenny, this is really great what you're doing," she gets mad at you. She's like, "Shut up, we got work to do." I mean, You say you talk about online a lot how you're trying to get some rest as best you can. You look well rested to me. You look fabulous. But
I put on makeup. I put on my own makeup. I'm excited. I have my little makeup brush next to me. I made that as my resolution that this year I would make an attempt to look decent. So I had to make it cool.
Look, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to know that we can trust where our money's going to and what it's doing. And Bethenny.com/be strong. It's right there. And whatever was contributed the other day, doesn't matter what the number is. We're going to double that. I don't know.
Thank you so much.
It'll help. But the first thing you need to know is be aware of what's going on in the world, even without sending a penny. You have to be aware of what's going on around the world to people, human beings.
Well, I don't watch the news that much. I've been watching the news more this week. And while the news does repeat itself constantly and they, need every single second is breaking news, I've learned a lot. I mean, flipping around and I'm learning a lot. So you do have to pay attention. Elvis, from the very beginning, you've been supporting us and donating since multiple disasters ago. I think you started in Puerto Rico, which is a long time ago. So I appreciate it. But it's true. We're all getting an unnecessary education right now. And it does really matter. And so many people don't care. So the ones of us who do are making a difference.
Learning about the world. Yeah. It's one of the only specks of positive that comes out of something that's so massively awful.
Yeah.
Yep. And our kids too are showing our kids what solidarity is like and defending what's right and pride and concepts that you can teach them and giving back and letting, I'm tired right now, but I'm going to complain about that. Like, it is what it is. I was literally thinking this morning, I slept so little, but I thought, oh my God, there are people laying on the floor in a mall. Like, it's the first thought I had. So to give your kids that perspective and to say, I know that you didn't get this or you want this or this didn't happen at school. Look at their kids laying in the middle of the mall right now as they're home.
Well, Bethenny, Thank you for spending time with us. And whatever you need, if you need to turn left or turn right or exit one highway and enter another freeway, whatever, you'll let us know so we can be there with you and be on the sides to help you out. Okay, please.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're the best, Bethenny. Go have a beautiful day. Okay.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.